Okie dokie, guys. We are moving. Hold on a second here. Did I get that to post? I did. There we go. All right, we're good. All right, so there it is. Make sure I found what I was looking for, which was my stylus. All right, so this is the use my cough drop after all. This is the progress on cover volume 6. Let me see. Let me go over here. So initially I was going to make just a small repeating pattern for the interior covers. That's what I usually do. If I can grab it. Catherine, hello, welcome to the stream. I'm just showing some of the progress on the cover here. Hey Blue, welcome to the stream. So this is the repeating pattern for book 5. It's a reading theme, so I've got little books, and Momo and Afloof are reading, and then I have Coco reading a book as well, and then I added in some little extra bits here and there. So that was book 5, and so I started, since 6 is gardening themed, I started off doing some little gardening doodles, and then I just kept on going. And so there's going to be minimal repeat on this cover, as I have all of these elements already illustrated. I probably will just mingle these flowers and leaf elements and just, you know, have it as is with a fully illustrated cover, and no repeat except for those. I may draw in a few more floofs and maybe some grass or ground cover or something, but so that's the interior cover. That's, you know, I feel like I've been working the problem back to front, literally. So I've been doing the inside cover, and then I moved to the back of the outside cover, which is this right here. And the blurb is going to go, so if you're looking at the finished product, what I have the lines for is this right here, blurb right here, and then what I'll be working on today is this side, and that'll be right here. And also, I can show you. So this is my port for what I do, so I keep consistency and actually build on work that I've, you know, don't have to redo work over and over. I just build up on what I've already done. Is I take the previous volume, which in this case is this book, book 5, and I put and save a save as file for volume 6, and then I just go in and replace all of the pages. These happen to be the final print versions, so when I lay things out in the rough draft in InDesign, I do it with the 72 DPI screen res files that are much smaller, and I find that once I lay in those 300 DPI files, it bogs down my computer a little bit. So I just, because what I'm doing at that point is I am sizing and manipulating those files a little bit, and it takes a little bit more power to do that with larger files than it does smaller files. And then all I do at the end is I go through and I export 300 DPI versions of these, and then just do a replace over here, and it automatically sizes and replaces that file with a 300 DPI version. And I do a go through and do a second check to make sure everything's fine, that things didn't move around any. Usually it's very minimal changes that I'm making. But yeah, so that's how this is working here. And also in the layout process, I'll figure out if there are comics that I need to separate into 2 different pages to make it look good. So let me find a good, okay, here's a good example of it. So this one is one I had to make an extra page in the original file. So in the web version of this panel right here is right below here, and this upper kind of purple area bleeds out to be under these frames a little bit to kind of glue it all together and give a little continuity. But if I tried to do that on this size of a book, let me just find that page in here. I don't know, what page are you? 82? All right. So this is the layout of this physical page right here. And if I tried to squeeze this whole comic, including this page, on one side, it would make this text pretty micro and hard to read. It would also make all of the art shrink down and it would be literally probably like this going down the page. So in those cases, I like to just take the extra page, and I consider this almost like an art panel that gives your eyes some place to rest. Because if you're going through and reading a lot of small paneled comics, I like to mix in areas that have a little bit of space and just, you know, kind of, again, room to rest. So that, and here's another example. On the very next page, I just do a little art sketch right here. One of my dailies is a little bit of a, I don't call it a rest again, but yeah, it is kind of a rest. It's a, I don't know. I feel like in a very visually colorful, engaging type thing like this is, you need some areas that just kind of give you a little bit of a rest. So, and here's another one, Putch. So that's what I do in these. I just lay out the comics and I figure out where I want those extra art pages to go. And I try to also use it to divide up sections. Like, for example, I think ever since volume 3 or maybe even 2, I've divided floof sections, pudge sections, and I start that with a little kind of a splash page, or not a title page, but maybe a chapter piece of art that is just that character. And then I go into the floof-centric comics right here. They're all floof, mostly floof. And if anything is not completely, well, there's an exception here because I do have 2 other characters, but it's 80% floofs, so I'm going to put it in the floof section. Otherwise, they go up in the appropriate section up here, which could be, the front of the book is mostly, I don't want to say it's chronological. Well, it kind of, it's not really chronological. Kind of. It's seasonal. So I start off with spring and summer. Wait, actually, I think I start off with summer, actually. I do maybe some theme stuff, and then I go through, yeah, I do start off with summer. There we go. Summer, and then I move into fall, winter, the seasonal Christmas and Halloween comics, and then I move into spring. And then this one specifically had an extra black and white happy story, which I had drawn or started drawing, I think, in 2015. So I finally got that put into this format. And then we go on to winter, and then New Year's, spring, and then I move into the Pudge Neem, Granny Bear, Coconut, you know, I kind of do that. And then in the back of all of them are the character bio pages. So if you pick up any one of these books, they all stand on their own, and you can read about all the characters that are included in each one. Then on the very last, I have an info page. So that's how that gets laid out, and this is the file that comes from. So the first thing I'll be doing here is taking out all of the old pages and putting in the new, and the only thing that I won't be changing is, of course, these character sections. It seems like every year I do a little bit of editing on this bio section. I will read through it and give it another look, but last year I added Baby Kraken in, and I gave the Greebles, I think that was the previous year the Greebles got their own little spot. We've got Spring Bear there, Granny Bear and Lady Boop, they were moved up. And then we've got Samu Berry, Jelly Bunnies, Frankie the Pug, Cute Bear. And then here's, of course, the last page with all of the social info. I'll be dropping Behance and adding TikTok this year, so see that. And I've got to figure out these splash illustrations here. I do have a splash at the front as well. These are 156 pages. Yeah, there's that one. I did the magic flower. And then I usually pick a offset color from the cover. So this was a little bit of a fall theme. So my my section color, blank page, I picked a sort of a goldish, and I used that to separate, let's see here, separate the beginning of the book and the character sections. And what I usually do here is if someone gets wants their book signed at a convention, or they pay for a little sketch when you buy it in my shop, this is the page I use to sketch on. And it's a nice, it works because it's right there at the beginning. You see it as soon as you go. There have been some volumes, like on the sketchbook art books, where I will draw and kind of extend the illustration that's on this first page, but for the most part, that's where I do drawing. Hey Kapil! Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. So that's what we're working on today. I was thinking I'd do animation, but then I'm looking at the calendar, and yeah, I'm gonna have to start laying out and compiling what I've got already. I'm running out of time, especially on this, because I need time enough for it to actually get printed. I've put my the one thing I need to do yet is get volume 2 converted so I can get reprints of that. And what I mean by that is, oh, sorry, Bean, go back to bed. So this is the old version of my comic. It was, let's measure this. I can't even remember what the measurements were. It was 6.5 by 8, and this is a very difficult size to print. Well, pre-pandemic it wasn't too bad, but after like the paper shortage and all of that good stuff happened, this size became very cost prohibitive, and so I had to change it. And I also changed my my print company, because the company that printed these went out of business, or they didn't really go out of business. They were absorbed by a larger company that is not small business friendly, so they didn't do. One of the advantages of this one was they did short print runs. They were happy with, you know, if you did 25 pieces, 50 pieces, 100 pieces, or 5,000 pieces, they were like, yeah, sure, no problem, we can do it. They were out of Michigan, which I didn't know previous to kind of learning about self-publishing, but apparently Michigan in that area is a big print area. And so, yeah, they went out of business and I had to find a new printer. And so now I use Mixam, which is really nice. They turn things around once you get the print files out, like 2 weeks. It's a pretty good turnaround. I use inch measure. Yes, that's correct, inches. So the new version is, I believe it's 8.5 by 6. Yeah, it's 6 by 8.25. So 6 by 8.25. And here is the comparison. You can see, kind of. Let's just do it this way. So you can see, hopefully, that this new version is a smidge taller and more than a smidge thinner. So what I have to do is go through my old files and reformat for the new format so I can get those printed. And this I just have to, kind of go through each comic, make sure they're still within the borders, that the conversion of the measurements on the document didn't mess things up, and oftentimes it does. Sometimes on these I've had to take a page and extend it. But yeah, the only ones I haven't yet converted are 2 and 3, and I have enough of volume 3 to make it through San Diego. I don't have enough of volume 2. Interestingly enough, and I found this out, where's my stylus? There we go. I found this out when I was originally mostly selling anime and manga as an anime retailer way back when. When you bring books to like a convention, bring a lot of volume 1 and the most recent volume, because those are the most that you'll sell. Everything in the middle sells significantly less. It's just a very interesting thing to find out. And sure enough, even with my own books, I look back at the numbers from previous Comic-Cons, and sure enough, volume 1, most recent volume, which last year was 5, and then I also had Life of Pug, which a volume 1, all sold head and shoulders above everything else, because they either want to start at the beginning or they want the most recent one. And then some people will come back and fill out, and I have had people get the first volume like on day 1 or day 2, and then they'll read it at night, they'll come back and they want the rest of them. So that's really cool. That's quite cool, but it doesn't happen as often as people just buying 1 or 2 or whatever. So yeah, so I need to get volume 1. That is also already in production. I looked at my numbers last year for volume 5, and I wanted to pad that a little bit to make sure I had enough volumes there. I'm sorry, for Life of Pug. Volume 5 is good. Volume 6, of course, which is what I'm working on, I'll have to get a full whack of, so. But due to that, I need to actually finish the cover, finish the inside, do all that good stuff. So this is a little bit of an edit on the, let's cut that. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to come in my sketch area. I'm going to place this in front, and let's just do a modified on this. And it's looking like a mess. It's looking like a mess. Give me a second. I need to find a hair tie. go and get a hair tie. Alrighty, we're back. Not working today. I even have my crosswind. I found my little guy, and he's just blowing kind of at my back and neck, but even so, it's pretty toasty in here. Alright, let's make it. Let's go. So on the back cover, I have coconut and spring bear and some flutes. They're planting, and then this is going to be more of a garden area that is walkable. So one of my inspirations, working with the Gardener's Garden, which is I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, Phaidon publication, and I think you can probably get this on Amazon, but for a good price. But there's this awesome place here called Craftex, and it's a little bit of a mystery box of a store. Most of it, I would say more than half of it, is devoted to wholesale florist items. So like if you're a local florist, you would go there to get like fake flowers and pieces like the foam pieces that you used to stick stuff in to create flower sculptures. It's a little slice of interior decoration as well. You've got an exterior decoration for that matter. They've got this massive collection of ceramic pots. I mean, if you can dream up the ceramic pot, they probably have it. They also have these gigantic, like 8-foot tall horse statues. So if you want 2 horses, leading the way out on your sidewalk, you can go there and buy them. I also have these massive fountains. That's only part of it. And then the other part of this store is wholesale books. And it's like all of the art books and coffee table books. It's not really fiction. It's this stuff. It's stuff that you would see in a boutique or, a gift store, that type of thing. And it's all wholesale pricing, better than Amazon. And so I went there and I found this one. And what is unique and remarkable about this one is it's a profile of all of these different gardens around the world. And these are divided into regions, sections, countries. And what they do is they have these really beautiful pictures of the garden. Sometimes they have an overhead shot. And then down here, they talk about all of the different flowers and plants that are in this garden. So if you see something you're really interested in, you can usually come over here, figure out what it is, and then research that specific plant and be able to use it in your illustrations. Or if you're an actual gardener, you can use them in your garden if your garden is willing, because down here not many things will stay because it's so hot in the summer. So this is like, for example, I just turned to this page. This is a garden in Quebec. And let me see, are we in Canada? No, this is Washington State, so it must just be North America section. But yeah, so everything's divided up. This is very clearly probably Phoenix, California, desert somewhere. Yeah, Palm Springs. So lots of desert stuff here. But I really enjoy this as a reference. I have a lot of different reference type deals like this. Um, I have one for trees. I have, let me see, I'm looking over here. It's a good thing, like if, I mean, we have some gardens here that are nice, but it's neat to be able to kind of take a tour. And yeah, you can look up gardens on Google or whatever, but it just, I don't know, it's different. It's kind of like walking through a bookstore versus searching on Amazon. It's just, something's a little bit lost. But so I have those references, and I use those quite a bit, and just to kind of, because one problem I always struggle with is I find myself drawing the same plants, same shapes, the same ground cover over and over, and I really need to be vigilant with myself and be like, hey, do you really want to use this specific shape and style again? Or do you want to, get out of your comfort zone, draw something interesting and different than what you normally do? And so it's at that point, I don't know the names of a lot of flowers or, stuff like that. I have to go in and find interesting visual references that can kind of be a springboard. And so that's what I'm about. All right, so here I've got what I need on this cover, and what I have here is this little outline box is the actual physical cover dimensions, and I want to keep that in mind so I can draw a little extra, because I do like to use these full illustrations in the books themselves. Like I'll do let's see, I'll do a full page spread of the cover. It's back here. Oh, actually, no. Sometimes I do a full page cover spread. This time I use the Peaches picking illustration. Sometimes I do the full cover back here. But to do that, I need something that's longer. And so that's why I extend it out a little bit, so I have a little bit vertically and horizontally to have that that good, coverage that I don't have to squish, and some of them I have to squish and stretch and extend. This also prints very well on a landscape, 11 by 17, that type of deal. But just a sec. No, itch. There we go. All right, so let's see. But also I have to remember that if I want to have something actually on the cover, I need to be aware of this edge so I'm not cutting off characters. That was a problem. Actually, that is going to be a problem when I redo volume 3. And I already had a problem and had to, this little guy, I had to move him in a little bit, but since the new volume is going to be taller and thinner, I'm going to lose probably right up to here. So I'm going to need to move Coconut, Pudge. I'm going to need to move these guys in a little bit and do some editing on that cover. Let me see, did I use my full illustration here? Yeah, I did. So this is an example of the full illustration. And on this one, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just the little edge of the fluke that's in there. Oh yeah, gotta just kind of keep aware of that. And let's actually get to drawing now. I also like to keep a lot of the main characters, the main cast on the cover. And this year, I added Granny Bear. Granny Bear's been here since volume 4. Yeah. She was added on volume 4, here on volume 5. And she'll be on the front cover for 6. So now I kind of just have to figure out. little texture on this road area. And all I need to start grouping is just a few pieces, and so let's just start that. I'm also keeping Sarthak, hello, welcome to the stream. And some of these areas will not be visible, but I like to consider large elaborate illustrations like this kind of like a theater stage or a set. I want to draw in the background completely before my characters, so they have the environments in place, and then I can place my characters, my players on it. And this also is advantageous if I figure out, hey, this isn't quite working where they're positioned now. The way I draw most of the time is I'll group characters, especially in complicated illustrations like this. I'll keep the characters grouped on an individual level, so all I have to do is pick up and move this piece or slightly, scale it or whatever I need to do to get it to work. And if I just draw, the background pieces that I currently need in this layout, I'll find myself having to go back and redraw things. So I may as well just draw everything up front, move things around as I need them, have that set complete, so I can just kind of play around with the pieces at the end. And oftentimes I find that I don't need to do that, but there have been a few times where I have. And every time that happens, I'm grateful that I went through and I was complete on the background. And that's why I also wait. So like right here, you'll see that. Actually, let me just show you, because this is a good example here. So if I go in here, what I did in this case was I knew that these guys were going to be my foreground element, and they were going to have the highest contrast in the line art and artwork, line art and coloring at least. So that's why if you're looking between these two sections, this has a lighter line art, it gives a little distance, and these have a darker line art and it pops them forward a little bit. It's higher contrast. So if I go here in the back and get into this group, you'll see that I have actually completely drawn almost all of this. I drew completely the plants, and I didn't do that for the areas over here. I'm pretty satisfied with everything as far as how these guys are positioned. But in this case, I did draw that plant completely, and I did that same kind of thing with this one over here. And so if I need to scale move, I can just pick up these guys and move them around like this. See, it's easy to move and shift them. So now let's get back to drawing the front. So this will be off. And I kind of want to stay away from hard lines like this because it is grass. I want it to be, and it's a softer ground cover. I feel like if I break it up a little bit like this, it feels softer and looks more like grass than, this hard line here would look. And I'm also going to, I have little bumps here. This is me outlining where I'm thinking I want certain plants and areas to go for coverage. So like, for example, I want to have some more of these little poofs here, like bigger poofs here, and then I'll have like some floofs in the middle of them. And then I have characters. I have Granny Bear. She might be working on something over here. Boop is going to be fluttering over here. I have Pudge and Happy coming in over here. And Momo is carrying in maybe a flat of flowers or something to plant. Can I ask a question? Why do you not post videos? That's a good question. Time, mostly. I want to post videos. I would like to do long form content, but I'm literally the only one doing this, so I've got a lot on my plate. And it is a goal for me to get to do that, but I have to write a script, I have to record it, I have to edit it, and do all that good stuff. So, I mean, I think the most I can do right now is short form and keep my sanity. So they'll come someday. I'm gonna get this a little bit smaller even so. I'm learning 3D animation. My whole just flew by. Yeah, that's a big one. I'm trying to teach myself 2D. Not trying to, I am teaching myself 2D. And that's quite a brainful. I don't know, there's something I really enjoy about it, getting into the you know, drawing in betweens and figuring out motion and gesture and all of that. It feels the same to me as drawing details in an illustration, and that's one of my parts that I really enjoy. So that'll keep me going. Happy Tuesday to you too. I hope you're having a good day today. Let's see, let's have one of these taller plants back here maybe, but I need to make my point size even smaller here. That's pushing it a little bit, but let's figure out, let's make this all work together here. Something like that maybe. Maybe I can do a taller piece over here. kind of want to start subgrouping this, especially these background elements. I might group this, yes, let's just go ahead and group this specifically all together. That way I can push it behind Pudge because he's going to be popping out over here. Well, let me look at these guys. I kind of had a little fluffy business going on with these guys here, so I want to pick up and do the same sort of shapes if I can. And think about where these groups of leaves and growth are going to be. Oh, he is a plush toy. He's on my, actually this is my, tablet brace right here. It is the very, very first version of Happy Paper. And, he looks more like a powdered donut with his proportions. And, I got this, does it have a date on it? It was like 2008. And I have the big plushy versions available on the website. Those are actually version 2, because the first printing was with a different company, and then the second version was a little bit, a tiny bit smaller, and just about measuring like about an inch. And also I did some edits on the fabric and stuff to make it kind of just a little bit better, and also edited the face a little bit to be more current with Happy's face. I also have the little keychains, the final keychain versions of this guy, but it's funny, he is just the perfect little stabilizer for my my tablet, because I have the arm that kind of, you know, goes, I'm able to move this thing up and away, but the trade-off is the joints have to be loose enough that I can do that, and it doesn't stay stable. Like when I'm actually putting my arm against this to draw, it wiggles a little bit, so I keep him under here to stabilize the tablet. But yeah, I love Happy too. He's a good being. Hey Dee, welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a nice Tuesday today. It is a little bit toasty here, a little bit humid, but we're getting through it. I found my extra little kind of back breeze. I've got this tiny little tower I've plugged in over here, and it gives me a cross breeze here, and then I have my foot breeze coming from over there. I kind of want to close this in, maybe. Indeed, yay for Priestess. I know, right? It's especially nice when I'm outside, and usually around the evening a nice breeze will blow through, and it's just the breath of fresh air. Not sure. I want to close this off, but I feel like I'm going to have to erase this entire bit, that it doesn't quite work with what I want to do. And maybe to that point, this whole thing that really Tuxie, hi. Tuxie, everybody. He is a very big teddy bear, but he only is up here for his water, which is over here. And nope, he's done. He doesn't even want water. Now he's going to be, no, he's not going to be confused at the door. Do you want out, Tux? Are you coming back for water? Oh, he's coming back for water. I knew it. Or are you coming back for what? Very indecisive. Look. But I know that you don't want loves. I know you. Wait. Bean just gave him a look. He dared to disturb her slumber. Nope, Pepsi's done now. Go let him know. One thing Tuxie does not like is a closed door. If you close a door in his presence, he must immediately get outside of it and then come back inside of it. It should not be closed. That is his opinion. It's funny, back in another place, he actually, my door to my office is a barn door, so it slides. He's kind of figured out how to nose in and push it open. But in my old office, I actually had a door handle, and I have video of him figuring out how to open that door. It was one of those that looked, it was like this. So he could get his little paw up there and pull it down and pop the door open. But it took him about a couple minutes to mess with it and stretch up there and figure out this thing moved, and therefore I can move it and pop this door open. He's a smart boy. He's figured out all of the cabinets too. So I have baby locks on them, especially the ones with dishes in them. So yeah, so he can't pull them open. And he's taught Coconut how to do it too. Although she kind of, she's a little forgetful, I guess I would say. She's motivated to remember if she wants to like get under my bathroom counter, but she's less motivated elsewhere. She'll flop. Maybe that's actually not motivation. Maybe it's cleverness, because if she, pulls at a door and smacks the door she lets the world know that she wants to get in here, and I will invariably get up and go let her in or whatever. So maybe it's just, you know, cleverness in that she doesn't have to put the effort, she just has to make noise and someone else will do it for her. I'm not sure if I want to believe that amount of cleverness in Coconut, because that's also worrisome. I kind of like how that cuts off there, but let's put a little bit more out here. So I'm going to extend this over here just as I can. This little fluffy business here. Where it looks good. I did some fluffy business over here. Alright, I think I'll call that tree good. And another reason that I like to kind of think about in sections and group it like this is I want to do again what I did over here and push some of these elements back with my line art. So in reality, let's say you're standing like in front of a forest or something where you can see very far into the distance. So those more distant elements are going to proceed with less and less, you know, into distance as they go further and further away from you. The contrast is going to lessen, and it'll most often, you know, tend towards blue a little bit. It'll kind of get cooler as you go in the distance, and objects closer to you will have more contrast. And so I try and show that in the line art. I desaturate the line art a little bit if I want to have a small perception of it kind of being a little bit further behind. Similarly, I'll do things with the line art. So you see here where I've kind of created almost a halo around my character of open space, where technically if this was real and you were standing there, it would be kind of, even though life doesn't appear with line art and edges like that, it would be a closed and kind of intersection here visually. But this serves to pop the character out a little bit and give him a little more distance as well. And you can kind of see I did that here. But if you look at objects that my characters are touching or very close to, like this, I have those lines still complete, with the exception over here. I may close these off still, but for right now, they're not. And I have this. I didn't draw a little halo around here. I may still, but this plant specifically is much closer than these bushes back here. So that's the reason I did that. All right, so I'm gonna pop out of that group. And so right now you can see if I select this, it's its own little group, and as a matter of fact, go in here, delete that, because I don't need that anymore. What I'm going to do is go back out here, and I want to do the same with my little area over here. And I'm struggling because now I have this one clearly pushed further back. So this is going to be, I'm going to have to do the same line art treatment to this. So I'm guessing the line art for Happy and Pudge are going to be a little bit on the lighter side too. And I'll probably, this level is where I will bring in a little bit more contrast in the line art. But if I push this tree back and have it kind of here, I think that'll be okay. Alright, so I'm going to kind of take the same approach. You know what I've seen a lot popping up are these art retreats. Like, I follow, she's a traditional painter, and she did one, actually I think she hosted one in France, and I think she's going to another one that's somewhere in Scotland. And then another artist I follow, she did, she's gone all over. She did, I think the most recent one she did was maybe Greece, and then she did Japan and Korea, and I think there was another one. But there's like a whole, and it's not just artists either. I've seen, because I follow a couple of dancers too, and they've done, you know, he did a Bali trip that was kind of like a dance themed deal. But it's just kind of interesting how these it's not an influencer experience, but it's kind of put together. It's like a community experience, but a trip. It's interesting to see how that has kind of carved its own little market out. And it reminds me of a trip I went on well, it was actually kind of between high school and college. It was arranged by my photography teacher, and we went to Italy. And it was 10 days around the boot, which I wish we'd had more time, definitely in certain places. But it was really neat. It was remarkable on several different levels. It kind of had a nutty tour guide and a even nuttier bus driver. And our group had combined together with another group that was from a Catholic school. And so we had some nuns in there that admittedly did not act very nun-like. And it was a very interesting trip, but I don't remember what my favorite spot was. I really love Sorrento, but we didn't have much time there. But I love that we went to this, and I've seen it on social media, but there's kind of like this cliffside, and there's these peninsulas that you can go out on in the water, and you go down the cliffside and kind of meander through this staircase that's kind of carved into the cliff, and you come out the bottom of the cliff, the water. It's a really beautiful place, but I really enjoyed exploring the Vatican. And I did that alone with 2 of the chaperones because everybody else wanted to go to the Hard Rock Cafe. It's like, you're in Rome. We have Hard Rock cafes at home. Why the hell are you doing this and not exploring, you know, St. Peter's? So yeah. I did some exploring. Actually, I didn't have a chaperone with me when I went exploring in Venice. I just started walking. Do I need to... I should group this. Because I'm getting pretty far off into the weeds here. And I don't want to lose my spot. Now the question is, am I going to merge these two, which would probably make the most sense if I just say, okay, these two trees are right beside each other, and I will bring Momo in, like she'll be walking in between them, I think. And then, so here are these lines, vertical lines right here, those are the spine indications of my book. So what I'm going to do is, like on here, well, you can't see it on that volume. You can kind of barely see it there, but there's the title. This is about, what is it technically, 0.46 or 0.43, so just under a ½ inch for this spine, this paper, and this cover. And yeah. So I always want to keep that in mind because I have the text there, and I also have this indication of the vertical center of the illustration. So my text is going to be right here, and I need to make this, I have to make the colors pop so that it's still readable, even though I've got line art going over here. So I may in fact actually erase this to make sure my title pops out on the final illustration, but as far as the illustration itself goes, it's going to be complete. I can just do those edits later. I don't want to have these leaves kind of poofing out a little more. Like, if I'm thinking of the bunches, like maybe, do I want to have a bunch there? And actually, I think I want to have this pointing up a little bit more. I want to have, see how these guys are pointing? I'm saying, look here. I think I need to point these guys a little bit more so your eye is directed into the center. But I do like this little bunch coming up over here. Continue with him. And I can get rid of that. Oops. Take that little guy out. Huh. This kind of looks like an open mouth, like. Teeth down here. Or maybe the meat. Only you guys will know about the secret animal hidden in this illustration. So I am struggling with bringing this together. Do I want to have it kind of come down here? And then this guy is not quite what I'm looking for. I liked him before, but I might have to move this piece. And actually, maybe I should spin him around and maybe complete that little bushy section. So in terms of, thinking that's okay. My little animal is like, I don't like it. Oh, now he's looking like a dragon. Wait a minute. Let's do it over here. Yes. Alright, so I'm going to leave that like that. In fact, I might erase this altogether, so I'm going to keep him. Whoops. I don't need you anymore. Go. I'm going to group this a little bit because I may end up erasing him because I'm going to need room for Momochi, and I don't really want to have a lot of visual clutter right up against her ears. I'll leave that for now, but probably should have grouped this in with the others. But let's just, it's not part of that bush. Okay, this, okay, I'm already out on this. It's more fluffiness, more poofy. I felt like that one pushed the bottom of this bush kind of in. Alright, so I have not drawn the other side of my pathway yet. I have to think about what I'm going to have because I have a little rough sketch. I know this is going to be Granny Bear. Boop is going to be kind of fluttering over here. I'm going to have these puff balls here. I'm wondering if maybe I should put like a little garden box here that she can be getting ready to plant. And then Momo's bringing in the flat of plants for it, little flowers maybe. Let's think about this spot. What can be here that won't look like maybe, what if I had a bowl, one of those bowl planters? That would be pretty. I could do another here. And fill it with stuff. Like that. Bring it down some, and I probably will redraw it. I want to put some contrast in here. Maybe some details on that planter before I figure out what to put in the planter. And that could possibly erase everything here, but we'll deal with that later. I still need to figure out, I think if I have this round planter, maybe it would be good to have another one here. So that could be what Granny Bear is getting ready to plant. So let's figure that out. I want this to have like the same color scheme as that secret spot. The Meadow, the comic I reposted, was from last year around this time, where Boop found a secret garden and they went to pick flowers. There are a lot of poofies there, but I'm thinking of that kind of greens and pinks and a little bit on the warmer side, more on the cooler side, like those kind of that pretty palette colors. Well, let's bring this here. I'll edit this here as well. And then let's get rid of that rough sketch of that bowl. I wonder, what if I just erase this and have the corner kind of turn here? Maybe this is just a soft offshoot. And that is kind of, so this little pathway will be where Momo is walking. And then I'll have Granny Bear sitting here. And she's preparing this with some fresh dirt. And this can come a little bit. This pathway is going to curve down here. Like it's giving a nice height to this whole area. Like maybe I can shade this so this path looks like it's a little bit kind of scooped. Yeah, just a little bit of a scoop. Yeah, just softening a bit. It's just kind of subtle. Do a little scooping here too. Hello, my lady. Okay, you gotta toast the other side now, I see. bring this up here. I like that idea. Maybe I'll just do it with some negative space. Close that off, and let's make it 100%. Just do some nice colors. Bring this over. I'm gonna have to edit that a little bit. It's a little too not what I want. This though, so here, kind of fluff it up maybe. But maybe I should just bring that back down to this. Just a little bit of the light. It goes because it keeps on running. Let's do my poofs here, and I definitely need to get some more. Yeah, let's bring my point size back up a bit because this is the foreground. So I want to have some nice red glitter. It's a little robust line right in here. I feel like I'm drawing the trees from the Lorax when I draw these. What were they called? Oh goodness, what were those trees called? I saw that, I think it was on, I think that's available on Netflix, the 3D animated version. I wonder if the 2D animated one from Chuck Jones. Truffula trees. Oh, truffula, yes, yes. Thank you, Sharon. And who was the Onceler? The Onceler. And I love that, the Chuck Jones version. That was probably, what, a 30-minute cartoon? To make these disappear into the ground. So again, this is just kind of extra. My line for my book cover is here. Let's see. can actually start dropping in characters now, I think. Let me go in here and drop a little shading into these spots. I feel like I made the lines here a little bit more delicate on the front than I did on the back. They're definitely a smidge more chunky here. Over here, let's do a little bit of the same. Over here to kind of define the little poofs. Get about 3 over there. I'm just going to draw that little bit in. Go. Zoom up on those for now. Alright, so I have my basics of the environment figured out. Oops, I accidentally drew something there. Let's throw that out. Bunch together. Go with the direction of this poof and push those up. Do you like it, do you? quite the right shape for Happy. I kind of like that little bump, but I also don't like that little bump. Let's group Happy. I might need to make him a smidge smaller because he is kind of in the background coming up over the hill. Maybe move up his eyes a little bit. Or actually, maybe I should kind of do that. Because he is coming up over the hill, so maybe I'm not showing that part. Maybe it's just this. That seems a little better, actually. Definitely like that eye. One kind of needs to be a little thinner. And I need to probably redraw. Too much. It's better. Almost. I'll leave it for now. Little. I'm gonna have him behind the hill, like coming up over the hill, just over there. And let's get his coat. Let's see, I want his coat to be, maybe it's flying out a little bit. Seems like it could be okay. Kind of a fluffy moment here. It's a little visually confusing. I think maybe either move it down . it's open and flowy right here. I kind of want to make a little moment like that for this as well. So this one's going to have his little jacket like that. Do need a little kind of a fold. It's folding over. And let's just do this for the other arm right now. And I'm going to do a little kind of indication that he has fabric there too. And I can just erase, you know, what's like that. I don't remember, these guys are, whoops, it's pretty small. I feel like he needs a balance. I think they need a third one over here too. This one is just chilling, enjoying the ride. have a problem here. I need like bottom of this coat. That up a little bit, and now I can clear these pieces up. Seemed kind of nice if I did that, just that little hole. Completely closed loop there. Alright, well. Have to go. It was really cute hanging. Oh, take care, Blue. See you next time. Thank you so much for stopping by. Sorry, I haven't been looking up. Let's catch up with chat here. Christy, I started using vector layers in Clip Studio Paint. When I do my liner, I definitely see the benefit in you. Oh, yay! I'm so happy that they're working out for you. I have Clip Studio Paint, but I admit I have not tried their vector tools in there. I definitely should. I enjoy the versatility in that I can kind of, I don't know if future-proofing is a little bit, but I mean, I can kind of go in there and just pick up and move things, scale it up, blow it up to the, a billboard, or shrink it down, and it's just, I don't like, pixelation on prints and stuff. I mean, even, ones that I'm considering buying, I look at it, and if it's, see the pixelation just like right up there, punching me in the face. I understand, because the artist loves this piece so much, they still want to make a print out of it, but I should have thought of that. But I understand. But yeah, I don't like everything being crisp. I'll go ahead and have that in there. And that'll conclude Happy's sketch, but I need to erase his little footer because he's behind the thing. Yeah, it's definitely hit save. So it's coming along. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and plus random proofs left to draw. I'll probably leave that here as far as the stream goes. And if you want to see how this finishes up, I'll be posting the line art for this as my daily tonight. Probably won't get to the color because I have other projects I've got to get drawing on tonight. So finishing the line art here will be good. That will be a very good stopping point. But yeah, Pudge is going to be in here. I'm going to have Momochi, Granny Bear, and maybe I'll move Lady Boop up here. I'll have Miss Boop right here instead of down here, because I feel like that might clutter this up, but this would give, if she's flying along beside Happy and the Floofs, that would kind of give them a reason to be looking where they're looking. And I can have Pudge coming up over here, and then that will free this up a little bit better. Well, I'm glad you like it, Catherine. Yeah, I'm excited to see it done. I've actually not... So, on this one, actually, was a drawing I had originally done for volume 4, I had a bunch of different ideas, and this was one of the extra ones, and I just decided, well, I'll use it as volume 5 the next year. So I haven't drawn a cover for one of these for a couple, at least 2 years. So yeah, getting back into the cover, headspace is a different one. So you got to consider this where text is going to go. You don't want to have all these things competing for visual, real estate. You got to make the book have that quality. When you pick it up, you want to read it, and so have that cover art quality that is just picking up. And but then you also have to have room for the information, so it's a little bit of a puzzle, but I like it. But yeah, let me turn off my sketch. So this is what we've got left, and admittedly that sketch does add a lot of it takes away a lot of visual issues. But yeah, I think how I combine these two, I don't have the path going into the back, but you can kind of see where it would be. And I might add a little bit of a shadow back here to indicate that and continue it. But I'm pretty happy with where this kind of merged together. And I'll have plenty of room for Momo here, Granny Bear here, and Fudge here, and Lady Blue here, Title here, and Author here. Yeah, I think it'll be good. But put this back on. Let me hit save one more time, and that'll be it for me today. Let me go ahead and go to my ending screen. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sharon, Catherine, Blue. Let's see, Dee, if you're still here, thank you so much for joining. Sarthak and Kapil, if you're still in here, all my lurkers, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back on Thursday with comics, and I'm guessing, gosh, I hope that it would be really awesome if I could get back to animation and maybe starting to compile all of the shorts that I've done into one unit. But the next stream may be another Tuesday stream, maybe another book stream. I'm really hoping to have the book done by then though, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.